Would I be the asshole for uninviting people to my wedding behind my mom's back? I want to call some people and tell them they should not RSVP yes despite them receiving a save the date. So save the dates went out. This is before invites actually have gone out, and would I be the asshole if I called them to say that they will receive a paper invite but please RSVP no? I was a very tall unathletic kid. So I am late 30s and I grew up on this street with a guy, known him my whole life. Dude was just a bully, verbal. And I was forced to hang out with him and carpool with him and be on sports teams with him, spend weekends. And it was almost constant for many years. Basically if he and I were alone, which was very rare, it was fine. I wouldn't say I enjoyed his company because how could you when I knew the switch would flip? If even a third person was around or more. You could just set your watch by the verbal abuse about my unathletic lack of abilities and being goofy and uncoordinated. Don't worry, not that you were so worried. It's the bully. It's his parents. Our parents have known each other 40 years, but I wouldn't call them friends anymore. My parents moved away from that neighborhood. The parents were fine to me. Other than one incident where his mom got mad at me when I was kid and she cursed at me a bunch. A kid. Like 9 years old. She did apologize for it when we were adults, which I thought was big. But I honestly have a hard time not holding their son's behavior against them. One other wrinkle. My dad lent his dad a bunch of money when he was in some issues, and that was like 15 years ago, and maybe he paid back a little, but let's say 75% still outstanding. When I was going over wedding lists with my mother, she swore up and down all we had to do was include them and they wouldn't come because wedding is in another state. This was, I guess, for bullshit social reasons. Well, you guessed it. They said on the electronic reply for the save the date, "Can't wait." I was absolutely thrilled, let me tell you. Reddit, I am going to be 100% honest with you about one last thing, because I know when you read these stuff like this usually comes out in the comments or is buried, but I want to be upfront. Due to large families etc., we ended up inviting over the amount that we are allowed to have, with my family having way more. My mother swore up and down that many will not come, and it is stressing me TF out. So I would be lying if I did not say there was another reason to do the following, and that is to get 2 more people off the list for my peace of mind. Would I be the asshole, or how much would I be the asshole if I called the guy's mom and nicely said, "Listen. It's all good, but you know what a bully your son was to me." She does. "You know your husband owes my dad money. Please do me a favor when you get this invite and RSVP no, I really don't want you there. Sue, can I put you down on my master list as def not coming? I know my mom was really the one who was in the wrong for inviting them in the first place, but here we are." Edit. Why does my mom get a say? Well, my parents are paying for the wedding, so Dems da breaks kids. You all are correct, WBTA if I did that, but I did not do that, and 99.9% would never do something like that, but I was just stressed and posted here. Assuredly I am the first person in the history of the internet that posted something in the midst of a stressful moment. I am hopeful that the amount of people that I need to not RSVP will be reached, and if it goes over that number I will first see whether the venue can accommodate. If they cannot, I will have my mom reach out to certain people that were put on the list that I didn't want, and they are the first on the chopping block. You are the asshole. No, you were in the wrong for not putting your foot down with your mom. You are the one holding this grudge. You have an issue with this loan that doesn't involve you. This is you doing it. Take an active role in your life. Be clear. Not saying don't call and tell them. Frankly, I hope you do, so you can at least be responsible for it and get a feeling of pride from it. Save the dates aren't invites. Just don't invite them, as in don't send them actual invites. This is your wedding, not your parents'. Don't let them tell you who to invite. I wouldn't even send them an invite. Why open yourself up to having people you literally don't want there? Email them and tell them they're not invited, or have your parents' mom can call them in your presence and have them, her tell them, since it was her idea. YTA if you send them an actual invite. Not one of you nip this in the bud. If the invites haven't gone out yet, just don't send them one. You are the asshole if you do that, yes. You've already indicated they're invited by issuing the save the date. That would be poor etiquette. They've already got a save the date. YWBTA if you say this to them. Listen. It's all good, but you know what a bully your son was to me. She does. You know your husband owes my dad money. Please do me a favor when you get this invite and RSVP no, I really don't want you there. Sue, can I put you down on my master list as def not coming? My overall vote is esh. It is your wedding, you shouldn't have invited more people than you knew you would be able to host. Or shouldn't have let your mom invite everyone even if she swears they won't be attending. Am I the asshole for yelling at my dad for taking $3,500 out of my bank account? I, 18 male, work a full-time job, and still live with my parents, 53 male, 48 female. Today at work one of my good friends asked if he could borrow some money for groceries, seeing how if the roles were reversed he would do the same, and has paid me back on time before. I agreed to send him $20. I pull out phone to send him money. Seeing a discrepancy with my total saving, almost $4K less than it should be. I panicked and looked through my account history to see what could have happened. Seeing the charges from the weekend, movie tickets, payment for my new piercing, and from my night at the bar. One that caught my eye, $3,500 online banking charge, from Saturday, April 28. I was livid. I work at the same company as my mom. I ran up the warehouse stairs to the offices to ask my mom about it. My mom, after seeing what I was talking about, said, "I don't know what it is." Then, "Oh, I do know what it is." When I asked for more information she said, "I won't tell you. Your dad will." I pushed for more information and all she had to say was, "Taxes." I was confused because I had already done my taxes and shouldn't have had to pay that much because I don't own property, I don't have a car, and I've only been working 7 months and 18 for 6. I couldn't have to pay that much in taxes. I make $15 an hour. Me wanting answers, texted my dad, asking him why. Knowing that wasn't for my taxes, I may have been very aggressive with the texts, see image for what I said. Not getting a reply, I was theorizing with my coworkers what it might be. Secret property I got from my grandpa's will from 2 years ago? Things of that nature. The day was done and I went to the carpool with my mom. I drive home from work, she drives in the morning. My mom asked for the keys, and was mad. Telling me I shouldn't have texted my father about the money and that he was going to tell me about it. He had 3 days to tell me about it, and she started to cry saying that they had to pay the money right away and they didn't have enough to pay so they took from my account. Now I feel like a piece of shit about it. I ate a edit more like update. Didn't expect even a quarter of the comments and thank you to everyone, and to answer the questions. I've had this bank account since I was 3, and had thought when I last went to the bank I took them off of the account, when I went to increase my spending limits. Found out that my limits haven't been increased and they haven't been taken off of the account. And I have been in the process of getting a new bank account at another bank. To everyone saying move out, I took a gap year to save money to move to Toronto for university. Yes, I am Canadian and live in Winnipeg, MB. And I'm not moving back. Long history of manipulation. That I'm stupid for looking over again and again, and neglect. And lastly, my parents and I agreed to a payment plan till their debt is paid. 25% of my parents pay for the next month and a half. And I will be on them for it. And to everyone saying go to the police, that's justified to say or think, but wouldn't go anywhere and would strain our already strained relationship more. I see where you are coming from, but that's too extreme. My parents needed the money ASAP for property tax, and to my confusion with it being for my taxes, it was my first time doing my taxes, so I could have missed things, so that's where that came in. Me thinking it was my taxes and K was dumb and missed stuff. Thank you for the advice and snapping me to reality with the manipulation my parents were applying to me. Not the asshole. They stole your money and didn't have the decency to ask. Or even tell you. Either remove them from the account or open a new account by yourself. They can call it whatever they want, but it's theft. And an amount that would be a felony in the US, except they have account access. You need to make sure they can't access your accounts anymore. You are an adult. You need your money back now. Or press charges. Not the asshole. They should have asked or at least told you prior to taking the money. Not the asshole. That's stealing. Had they come to you and asked for the money, it would be a different story, but the way this played out, you were stolen. Not the asshole, and you need to change banks. Am I the asshole for telling my parents I eat well, exercise regularly because I don't want to end up like them? My F27 parents, M.F. mid-60s, have had tons of health issues pretty much as long as I can remember. My dad has been at or above 300 pounds for my whole life, so he has the health issues that go along with long-term obesity. My mom, while not obese, has been overweight pretty much forever also, and just narrowly avoided a massive heart attack after difficulty breathing while watching TV. Had emergency open heart surgery to deal with several blockages. Healthy meals growing up was pizza after a small salad. So when I moved out, I unlearned unhealthy food and exercise habits and learned new, healthier habits. Props to my husband, M27, who had those healthier habits and has been significant other helpful as I figure this stuff out. We recently visited my hometown family for a week. We got guest passes for the local gyms because we both experience pretty brutal mental health declines if we don't work out at least some. My parents teased us a little for having to work out even on vacation, but I let it slide because I can see how it's a little silly from the outside looking in. Then we went out to my all-time favorite Italian place. I got baked ziti, which comes with a salad as an appetizer, which I did in fact eat. There was a snicker from my parents. I ignored it because I didn't realize it was aimed at me. Then the meal came and I only ate about a third of it, got the rest to go. We were going to be in town for 4 more days so I could reheat it and it wouldn't go to waste. We're waiting for the waitress to come back to sign the bills and then head out. My dad says, "Are you sure you're our daughter?" My name, we know, would have asked for seconds and wouldn't have even touched the salad. I said I'm trying to be healthier, nothing wrong with that. He doubled down and said they don't even recognize me anymore. They have no clue who I am because the kid they raised didn't think twice about the gym, and now it seems to be my life with how much time I waste there, and don't get them started on the supplements, pre-workout and protein powder, because that's a waste of money that we could be saving or putting towards expenses or investing. So I told my parents I'm making the most important investment I can make. I'm investing into my health, because I'd rather spend $200 a year on the gym and supplements than $200 a month on medication I could have avoided being on if I had just been a little healthier in my younger days. My mom asks what that's supposed to mean, and that's when I said, I'm making the lifestyle choices I am so I don't end up like you too. My genetics may be screwed, but I don't have to make it easy for them to win, so I'm not going to. Cue outrage and insults hurled towards my husband and I. Waitress came back just at that moment, so my husband signed and we dipped out. The barrage continued with texts, so I just muted my phone. I get they took it personally, there's really no other way to take it, but was it really that out of line? Not the asshole. They likely know that their habits are the cause of some of their health issues. I've never been small, and at 50, my joints are paying for it. Instead of mocking my daughter for wanting to be healthier, I encourage good habits without shaming her love of sugar. We're working on balance and making healthy choices, and the truth hurts sometimes. If they'd not said anything, or, in particular, not vilified your desire to stay healthy and fit, you wouldn't have had to be so direct. The saddest part is that as parents, so long as it isn't something unhealthy or disordered eating, they should be happy that you're healthy and fit and taking care of yourself. Not the asshole they don't want to get in shape, their choice, but to try to shame you for it? No. Not the asshole, they started it, plain and simple, don't talk crap if you can't take it. Not the asshole. You aren't asking them to change their lifestyle at all, but you are investing in your health, and frankly, they can't handle that. You are not the asshole, but they certainly are. Not the asshole. This sub is very sensitive with weight-related posts. The principle of don't start none, there won't be none very much applies here. They pushed and pushed until you finally said what? Not even an insult, simply the truth. Am I the asshole for yelling at my brother for eating my food? So, yesterday was my 16th birthday, but we decided to celebrate it on the 1st because everyone was free that day. I decided to make a lasagna for dinner. I had enough for dinner the next day since the rest of my family had dinner to go to with friends, and it would be a hassle to make more food just for one person. My brother, 13M, and I were supposed to go, but since it's my birthday they let me stay home. I'm having my K exams, which, if you don't know, could make or break your future, so I've been stress eating and gained weight. I lost 2 kgs and have been starting to work out regularly again. So yesterday I remembered that I had the lasagna in the fridge, so it motivated me to work out more than usual. By the time I was done and showered I was very hungry and went down to eat and get back to studying. I had skipped Eid celebrations up to this point to study, which if you don't know is a large holiday for Muslims. I had already had my fair share of missing large meals I always looks forward to and having my brother rubbing it in my face, so when I went downstairs to see my brother eating my lasagna. Seeing this pushed me over the edge, and I yelled at him that it was my food and that if he wanted something I could have ordered him a pizza or a burger. After this, I went to my room and just studied while being on the verge of crying. He didn't say anything at the moment but instead just smiled at me. Later my grandmother throws open my door and starts yelling at me non-stop for yelling at my brother and how I'm supposed to be the older brother. She said instead of going to dinner now she has to stay home to console my brother because he is inconsolably crying. In the background I see my brother peeking his head around the door and silently laughing. After he saw that I saw him, he started to fake cry and went to my grandmother telling a wildly exaggerated story of what happened, saying that I gave him the lasagna then cussed him out for eating it while laughing and him crying, etc. etc. My grandmother said I'm fat enough and that I should let my brother eat now and again. Despite being 3 years younger than me, my brother is still 7 kilograms heavier than me, partly because he always eats all the food and blames it on me. I got so mad I was so tempted to yell. I tried to tell my side of the story but I was constantly cut off. He was then given my birthday cake to eat as a consolation. I had to go to bed hungry on my birthday. My mom just said that maybe I shouldn't have taken a long, 5-male shower and left it at that. My brother has a history of doing this and eats all the snacks and blames it on me. Everyone believes him because he's the innocent younger brother. He constantly swears and says racist things, and when showed the proof I was called a liar and told I manipulated the images and the audio. He constantly gets C's and D's but it's fine, but when I get a B suddenly I'm a disgrace to my family. So am I the aw? Not the asshole? This sounds like a toxic environment where your brother is playing with you as he is considered the golden boy. I'm sorry for what happened to you. But the only thing I can advise is stop paying attention to him. Don't talk about him to your family. Don't try to show them his faults, etc. Distance yourself from this competition that he has going on and start thinking about your future away. What are you going to do? Who do you want to be? They are not going to realize what games he is playing until you're not around to cover up for his slack. Not the asshole. I hope when your family asks why you don't have a relationship with them after moving out you'll throw that in their face. Know your NTA, your family is ta though. No one should have to go to bed hungry on their birthday. Please know your worth. You are worth more than they want you to know. No, you don't deserve this, and when you turn 18 get out while you can. Even if you have to work and put university off for a few years. Not the asshole. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. He will get his one day, you'll be there laughing. Not the asshole, but this'll continue until you put your brother in his place.